What?
Please calm down.
I've never seen a gun pulled. I've not seen
There was never a gun pulled. There was never a gun pulled.
Have you ever wondered what happens when those who are meant to protect and serve make colossal mistakes? In the world of law enforcement, where trust and accountability are paramount, the repercussions of police officers' error can have far-reaching consequences. Join us as we delve into the intriguing realm of law enforcement blunders, exploring the impact they have on individuals, communities, and the very fabric of justice. What happens when the guardians of justice make grave errors in judgment? Prepare to be captivated as we unravel what happens when cops make huge mistakes. On October 31st, 2021, there was an argument between a former deputy named Michael Hoover and one of his neighbors in Putnam County. The neighbor called 911 and claimed that she had been physically attacked. During the call, she mentioned that there might be a firearm inside Hoover's home, but she did not say that the gun was used or shown during the argument. Shortly after the call, another deputy, referred to as Deputy Jew, arrived at the scene. Deputy Jew had previously worked with Hoover at the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. After Hoover left the department, he started a traffic control company and even hired Deputy Jew to work for him during his off-duty hours. However, a lawsuit claims that Hoover stopped giving Deputy Jew work because of his unreliability and poor performance. When Deputy Jew arrived at Hoover's house, he spoke to Hoover's wife before entering their garage. It's important to note that Deputy Jew did not have a warrant, any urgent circumstances, or the consent of the occupants to enter the garage. Nevertheless, Deputy Jew drew his weapon, prompting Hoover to raise his hands and show the deputy that he didn't have a weapon on his waist. Hoover then put his hands back in the air. While Mr. Hoover had his hands raised, the deputy pushed him into his house, forcefully hitting him against the wall. In the brief fight that followed, Mr. Hoover kept his hands down by his side. It was at this moment that Deputy Jew unexpectedly punched Mr. Hoover in the face, causing multiple fractures and other injuries. Then, with great force, Deputy Jew pressed Hoover's neck against the wall, creating a hole in the drywall. Deputy Jew continued trying to arrest Mr. Hoover, even though he didn't have a valid reason to do so. During this time, Mr. Hoover's family questioned the deputy about his actions, and the altercation slowed down when the woman who had initially called the police entered the house and informed the deputy that she hadn't seen any weapons.
What?
Please calm down.
I've never seen a gun pulled. I've not seen
There was never a gun pulled. There was never a gun pulled.
Well, when you're resisting arrest and
I'm not resisting. I'm holding my hands over there. There was never a gun involved, sir.
Okay.
You're looking in my face.
A group of police officers arrived at the scene, but they didn't arrest anyone. However, things became interesting the next morning when more officers joined a deputy to inform Mr. Hoover that he was being arrested on 3 charges. These charges included assaulting a first responder, resisting arrest, and assaulting someone based on the original 911 call. The first 2 official statements, which were sworn under oath by Deputy Jew, claimed that Mr. Hoover refused to comply with the officers, waved his arms, and made physical contact by shoving them. The statement also mentioned that Mr. Hoover struggled and resisted while the officers tried to handcuff him. However, the video evidence contradicted these statements. Deputy Jew knowingly lied under oath to have Mr. Hoover arrested and failed to report that he initiated the violence against him. The lawsuit also alleges that Deputy Jew had another assault warrant issued against his neighbor, even though he knew or should have known that the charge lacked probable cause. A few months later, after seeing the video evidence, a prosecutor dismissed the charges of assault on a first responder and resisting arrest. Finally, in March 2022, Deputy Jew received remedial training on de-escalation and the use of force. The sheriff's office tried to portray this as a simple violation of policy, but it seemed to be a violation of Mr. Hoover's civil rights and the laws of Tennessee. According to Tennessee Code 39-13-101, a person commits assault if they intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly cause bodily injury to another. The code further explains that if the offense is committed against a law enforcement officer or a healthcare provider while they are carrying out their duties, the maximum fine should be $5,000. However, these codes are rarely applied in favor of citizens when law enforcement officers commit offensive assaults. State officials are seldom charged, even with evidence provided. Furthermore, if a civil action is taken against an officer, they usually argue a defense of qualified immunity. If they are denied this defense, the municipality employing the officer will likely pay any lawsuit judgment using taxpayers' dollars. Mr. Hoover filed a lawsuit against Deputy Dew and Putnam County, alleging excessive force, malicious prosecution, unlawful search and seizure, and municipal liability. The lawsuit also claims that due to these unjustified arrests, Mr. Hoover and his traffic control company faced difficulties working with the law enforcement community. This resulted in a decrease in revenues of over $100,000. Mr. Hoover's attorney, Ben Rabin, stated that their complaint alleges that the officer illegally entered Mr. Hoover's property, used unnecessary and excessive force against him, and then lied about the incident to press baseless criminal charges. They believe the video evidence clearly shows what happened, and they intend to pursue all available legal remedies in court.
We're alleging that what the officer swore to under oath on this affidavit is simply not what's in the video. I mean, Mr. Hoover's hands are down by his side, and the officer just punches him. If that's not a sucker punch, I don't know what is.
We asked, but the Sheriff's Department had no comment.
The lawsuit says that the deputy intentionally took legal action against Hoover, accusing him of a crime, to hide his unlawful actions and to prevent Hoover from filing a lawsuit. The lawsuit also states that the Putnam County has a specific practice or rule in place to purposefully take legal action against people who have been treated violently by deputies. According to the lawsuit, the deputy involved in the incident received additional training to improve their skills after the incident, but they did not face any punishment for their actions. The Putnam County Sheriff's Office did not provide any comments regarding the lawsuit.
We asked, but the Sheriff's Department had no comment.
As we conclude our journey through the realm of law enforcement blunders, one thing becomes abundantly clear. The consequences of cops making huge mistakes are profound. The lives of innocent individuals can be irreversibly altered. Public trust can be shattered, and the credibility of an entire justice system can be called into question. We must hold those responsible accountable, learn from these incidents, and strive for a future where errors are minimized and justice is truly served. Join us next time as we continue to explore fascinating topics that shape our world.